This is the parable of the wedding banquet, which is Matthew 22, verse 1 to verse 14. It's a wedding banquet. The bride and the groom, and the father of the groom has laid on a big feast. A parable. Like you throw something parabolic. And Jesus would tell stories. He would never tell them directly what he was implying. He left it to the people, for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. So Jesus didn't love everybody. He had a select audience, or he was after or looking for particular individuals, and those particular individuals would be looking for him, whether knowingly or unknowingly. There's a yearning, there's a drive, something's missing, there's more to life than this. And you look at the world's leaders, build back better, and their rituals to rebuild and reset. That's the satanic deception. And all the new normals, all those people that buy into it, that have been programmed by the ritual, they've been initiated into the new world order and they don't even know it. And they go along with it mindlessly because that's what good people do. But you, the listener, you're a rebellious generation. See? No sign will be given to you except the sign of Jonah. Figure that out, people. Figure that out. Because you'll be looking at the world and you're rebelling against it. It's pissing you off. And all the new normals, they're gonna fucking hate you with a fucking passion. Because you're going to be shaking them. I'll do another video in a minute. The cost of following Jesus. There's a cost to everything. Nothing's free. This will sort the wheat from the chaff. When you realise what it's going to cost you, this will really sort you out. Now, we'll get back to Matthew, chapter 22, verse 1 to 14, and it is the wedding banquet. Jesus spoke to them again in parables, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to those who had been invited to the banquet to tell them to come, but they refused to come. Then he sent some more servants and said, 'Tell those who have been invited that I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and fattened calf have been butchered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding banquet.' But they paid no attention and went off, one to the field, another to his business. The rest seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged. He sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. Then he said to his servants, "The wedding banquet is ready, but those I invited did not deserve to come. Go to the street corners and invite to the banquet anyone you find." So the servants went out into the streets and gathered all the people they could find, both good and bad. And the wedding hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to see the guest, he noticed a man there who was not wearing wedding clothes. "Friend," he asked, "how did you get in here without wedding clothes?" The man was speechless. Then the king told the attendants, "Tie him hand and foot and throw him outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are invited, but few are chosen." So, a parable, a symbolic story, allegory, metaphor abound. So the rich man, the king, is obviously the Father, the unified field, the universe. And he's throwing a wedding banquet for his son. And the guests is the mind, because the biblical marriage is the left and right brain hemispheres becoming one flesh. And the guest then at the wedding banquet is the mind. But to get into the wedding banquet, you have to be dressed appropriately. This here is not your dress. Let's just clip this. This, the body, your cross, has to be dressed appropriately. Remember Jesus said, the saints, they cleaned themselves. So you clean all the shit out of the body. You clean your psychology with meditation. Now, bollocks. Now the first people he sent out, they got mistreated and killed by the people that he had invited. That was the prophets. The prophets were always killed. Jesus was killed, all the prophets were killed. Okay? But there was one guest at the wedding party who was not dressed properly. And this king spoke to him, but the man was speechless. So they tied him up and threw him into the darkness, and there was wailing and gnashing of teeth. So this is somebody who's gate crashed the party. Nobody likes gate crashers. Nobody likes uninvited guests. An uninvited guest is like gonorrhea. Now you can use substances like DMT to gate crash the wedding banquet. And then you're in there and you're seeing everything. And the Father will try to speak to you, but you can't speak because your brain, your God, is completely fucking addled. And then you're tied up, you're bound, you're not free. And then you get grabbed by the other guests and you get thrown out into the darkness where you will wail and there's gnashing of teeth. Gate crashing higher consciousness is damaging your brain. Isn't it suspicious that for my entire life, for a large modern history, all forms of drug taking, with the exception of alcohol and cigarettes, was illegal. But now they're talking about legalizing it. as if somebody somewhere wants you to damage your brains. It's, you know, even the medical profession is talking about using microdoses of ayahuasca and DMT to alleviate certain mental health issues. Fucking with your God will damage it. Leave it alone. Just clean your house. Let it repair itself and let it do what it needs to do to get you free, to free your mind, to free yourself, your soul. Because we all know, when I used to drink, you could teeter on the edge, lose your mind for a little bit, and then you'd come back and the mind would be waiting for you. All you did was postpone the shite for a short period of time, and then you were back again because the drugs wore off and there was wailing and gnashing of teeth. That's what that's about. It's about substance abuse, gate crashing higher consciousness, and then getting your fucking ass handed to you and thrown back out. Have you seen those films in science fiction where they take a tablet? Like everybody in society takes a tablet and they all think the same. The new normal. Everybody's dosed up. No free will. But they're operating in higher consciousness. But they don't deserve it. It's temporary. Think about that. It seems that this character, Jesus, was pretty fucking clever. Bit of a visionary. Slightly ahead of his time. Except the time is right now. It's all happening right now. And all the religious retards are talking about shit that happened 2,000 years ago. It's happening now.